District Commission. It is just before 4 a.m. We're trying to balance out the scales. Start just a hair, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. Oh, look at that, it's 4 o'clock. Let's see, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor? It'll be Angus, Val, myself, Ray, and Connie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Let's see, this meeting is being audio video recorded. Anything you say or share will be shown on the town's YouTube. Please act accordingly. Consent with conditions. Any recusals? Connie will sit if she doesn't have one.
Consent?
I'm sorry, consents? Just consents. Motion?
Motion to approve consents.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Commissioner Q&A with Preservation Planner Holly. Does anyone have questions for Holly? 46 Walsh, 10, 7.
I did look at all the comments, but I didn't write down anything to ask her.
Okay,
Good thing she's here.
Thanks.
okay. Holly, anything on CLG or?
Nothing on CLG. I'll be having minutes here shortly. So
Okay.
I can send to the both respective commissions so you all can approve on your leisure.
I think as a federal program, we have like 3 years to approve minutes. Thank you, Holly. Okay, let's see. We're going to go right into the first item on the agenda under old business of 8.5. And is Matt or anyone from Emeritus here online?
No, Matt's right now.
All right, so we're going to hold that. 46 Walsh, Ben?
I am here.
Ben, good evening. Your board is myself, Abby, who's joining us now for the record. Val, Angus, Carrie is not with us, or she is?
Yeah.
She's on Zoom. Hi, Carrie. So you're up too?
Yep.
Ben, are you going to steer, or you're going to present via your share?
No, I was hoping you guys could do that for me. I'm sorry.
Alex, you're on. Yep, 46 Walsh Garage Studio.
We just started. It's on the part. This isn't here, so we're going
Ben, when you see it, we'll see it, and go ahead and get started.
Sure. So, but while we wait for it to, did it come up?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So what we have here is the garage studio that we looked at last time, and the concerns were the balcony over the garage doors on the front. What I've done here is integrated that balcony, obviously greatly reduced it, both in depth from it was 5 feet, now it's 4 feet, and of course the width now that we have the porch roof aspect to it. So I think that's hopefully clean that elevation up quite a bit. There was also discussion of the French doors on the second floor, looking at putting a single door up there. So I've added that as an option B. I personally don't like the option B. I think it makes it even more kind of narrow. I think the French doors make it feel a little wider up there. So I did want to include that drawing so that you had it, but I don't think that's the appropriate way to go. And then the other thing that I didn't act on, but Carrie had been wondering about some type of porch roof integrating into the side balcony and the stairs. I looked at that architecturally. It got really weird. I couldn't integrate it very well. And additionally, that area is right tight to the main house. So it just clogged up that really narrow space between the two buildings. So sorry, Carrie, but I didn't act on that, or I didn't come to a comfortable place with that element. So I didn't make that revision. But hopefully the front porch is looking much better, and we would much prefer the French doors over the option B with the single door. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. If we could keep our comments to concerns, that'd be great. Who'd like to begin?
Stephen?
Oh, Mickey, you there?
Thank you.
Sure.
So this is Mickey Rowland representing the Historic Structures Advisory Group, which is myself, Jason Finger, Mary Bergman, and Marcia Fader. So on this one, we actually like the one with a single door, option B. It just felt a little more in scale with the building. And also what we commented on was the porch roof over the garage door. I think we kind of felt that it looks simpler and just better, I guess, without the roof, just the balcony on brackets, but pulled into the depth that you had changed it to, Ben, so it's still shorter off the building. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. Let's see, Val.
I was going to say I prefer the single door as well, and I like it integrated into the roof, not to be contrary to Mickey's comment. That's all I have.
Thanks, Val. Carrie?
I like the single as well, but I just think the roof is really not integrating that that deck at all. The railing is way above where the roof is, where usually you'd see the roof more enveloping the thing. I mean, you see the deck floor, which is not very typical for a roof and a balustered balcony. So I actually think without the roof is better as well. And then the side roof thing, I think I was just trying to mask that there was another sort of second floor element on this thing from the front, but I get it. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks. Let's see, Angus?
I agree that one door is better than two. No doors would be better than one. I don't feel that the balcony that doesn't follow building with Nantucket in mind at all is integrated in the roof. Not that I think that the roof could help, but it would need a shallower balcony and maybe some shingle on it. But what's clear is that there's a balcony and a door, second floor door, facing the street. And also the elevation is marked south, which I think is meant to be north. Thank you.
Thanks. Abby?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a disconnect between this proposed garage and the main house. I like both of them. Both of them seem appropriate, but they don't seem to go together. So I think simplify this garage as much as possible, which I guess means one door, no pent roof, simple brackets. And I kind of agree with Carrie that this sort of porch coming off the second floor on the right with the, it seems like, it's a pretty complicated little garage and the house seems very simple. So simplify it as much as possible. Thank you.
Thanks. Who's left? Just me. Of the two, prefer the roof. The Juliet balcony is, what color, Ben, is the trim?
It's white to match main house.
Yeah, it's gonna be slapping you in the face. Sorry, no offense. So I prefer the one door. So it sounds like we have a split on the balcony and we have approach, or no, I think we have three.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
How about taking the pent roof off and the balcony, the little deck, and just doing it like greater light, just a railing across the front.
Oh, yeah.
So they can open the door, but there's nothing to step out onto.
okay. I think, Ben, let's just determine if that's in the realm of possibility before we open up discussion.
Which way does the door slide?
So that I guess I'm not really, I mean, I know the concept of a Juliet balcony where there's really nowhere to spend time out there, but I'm not sure
It's a railing affixed to the trim in
right.
essence, and, it doesn't look like a railing.
But is there a porch roof in front of it?
No,
No.
So there'd be no element above the garage door?
right.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna like the look of that, no offense, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out there, Ben, what about just bringing that deck into 3 feet? What is it now, 4?
yep, sure,
That'll slightly decrease the fascia below the deck board.
Yep.
And I think that would be beneficial personally. I wouldn't mind it going back to, 2.5 feet and you can sit sideways out there. I don't want it to become a caricature though, so personally, I would throw that out there, see if anyone supports it. All right, first of all, Ben, is that something you'd be willing
yeah,
to do?
I think that'd be fine. Yeah, we're amenable to that.
I don't want to belabor it. Is there anyone who changes position with that being truncated? Okay, so Ben, it doesn't look like you've got support. Am I missing something? It doesn't seem like,
The roof, if we're gonna leave the roof.
okay, yeah, that's what I was asking. So
Yeah.
with the roof and truncate it by a foot
And it's the one door,
and one door
yeah,
as an exhibit A.
okay.
And Val Oliver, is that your motion?
I will make that my motion. Motion
Awesome.
to approve per Exhibit A with the balcony losing a foot
Yep.
in depth. And the one door, option B.
On your motion, on your motion?
Aye.
Angus?
Nay.
Nay. Abby? And I. Carrie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. 4 in favor for the record, Angus opposed. Okay, we're gonna move backwards to go forwards
Okay,
to, oh wait, Ben, we might as well address your next one while you're here. 10 C Street.
sounds good. I'm ready.
Yep, let's roll.
All right.
There's no pizza tonight. We're all gonna be hungry. You know what it's like when when we're not fed, we're gonna be grumpy. There's gonna be a lot of no's, so let's just keep things moving along, folks.
Great. So 10 C Street, I hope you may or may not remember this one, but it's a new dwelling, infill down by the White Elephant and the, oh, not the White Elephant, but the, whatever that piece of hotel is there and the veranda house. I've included, obviously, pictures of the neighboring houses, 15 North Waters, beautiful historic home, recently renovated. And then 8 C Street is the antique barn that we've just recently constructed, but and so this kind of slides in right between the two. I've also included neighborhood inspirations and some trim details that I've picked up from around the area that seem in keeping with what we're trying to accomplish here from a style perspective. So this site plan is great. Yeah, if you could scroll down one more, we could look at that those inspiration pictures real quick. So there again, and now I've also included a street elevation of all those 3 buildings, of course, the new one in the middle, and then we'll look at the elevation, if that's okay. So last meeting we had, there was a discussion of window sizes not being perfect, window spacing not being great, the trim being a little underwhelming, the roof walk being too big. So if I start from the top, I'll talk about the roof walk first. We reduced it from a 10-foot wide to a 9-foot wide. And then the depth, boy, did I take 4 feet off it. I note the exact number on there, 3 feet of depth. And then changed the post from a 4x4 to a 6x6 to kind of beef that up a little bit. And then as I move down, the trim work has been elaborated on the front massing, and I'll get to that, the back massing in a minute. But the front massing, I'm really trying to mimic some inspiration pictures I've seen around town that I've included. So the rakes have a crown molding on them. They're projecting. They die into a wrapping gutter detail. And so really trying to dress up that front mass to feel very, in keeping and historic in the area. And then the rear massing, I've very much simplified the trim. So, a flat 1x8 rake with a little shadow board, no wrapping around gutters. So I'm really trying to differentiate between the front mass and the back mass. So trying to, accentuate the front and de-escalate or whatever the back. So, and as far as windows, gone to a 6/6 pattern, which I think is much more historically in keeping. Sizing of windows, the first floor, one windows were put up a size. And then, of course, on the front elevation, I've included a triple on the second floor and a much larger one in the gable. So I think, all these little bits and pieces, I think, are really bringing us much closer to a house that fits in with the neighborhood and has, well-balanced proportions. And with that, I will put it over to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Mickey, you guys got anything?
Yeah, so Ben, I'm sorry, I might have missed something. Did you say you made something about 3 feet shorter, narrower?
Yep. Yeah. So the roof walk is 9 feet wide by, God,
Okay.
is it 20 feet deep?
Got it.
I guess is the right way to describe it.
That was the roof walk you were talking about. Okay.
Yep.
So that's better, although we still think it should be only 8 feet wide. Length, we didn't really look at too carefully, I guess, but that's so the thing that I was hoping that you would make a little shorter is that the gable to the left of the main mass facing west, I guess. That even if you look at the floor plan, that feels like it could lose a few feet, and I think it would improve the general scale of the building altogether. Aside from that, I think the only other comment was to maybe lower that window in the gable end, the upper window of 6 or 8 inches to pull it down a little bit. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, your board, myself, Abby, Val, Angus, and Joe. Let's go with Abby.
Yeah, so I still feel that, I think I said last time, I thought this looked kind of shoehorned into the site. And so, and I think that goes along with that is, I think it's, what would it be? The east? Well, yes, the east elevation almost looks like a duplex. I mean, I don't know, is it a duplex? But yeah, I just feel that it kind of overwhelms the site. I think the left-hand mass is also a bit, I'd like to see us shave off a couple of feet, because I think that's adding to the size of this building. And I'm not completely sold on the roof walk, so I still have some question marks. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Why don't we go with Angus?
Thank you. So to the points Abby and Mickey have made about the massing and filling the lot, but also the extension of that west gable, I thought we left the meeting last time with the idea that that was going to get reduced in size, that it was competing with the main mass. I really appreciate the 6/6s to the 2/2s. And the larger size windows, I think, are helping reduce the overall impact. I agree with the gable window being lowered and the 8-foot wide roof walk. Part of what is making the roof walk feel so tall is that 11 pitch, and all the inspirational photos are showing probably 8 or 9 pitch. I doubt anything more than a 10 pitch. So I think that would help reduce the overall height, but of the building, but also the height of those legs of the roof walk. Thank you.
Thanks. Joe?
Thank you. I agree with Angus's comments, and I would add 2 things to that. I think the front door entryway, we'll call it, is underwhelming. And I don't know if it's a change from a 6-panel to a different style door, or if it's trim, or if it's potentially side lights. But I think the move that you made to enhance the trim on the front part of the house and to scale it back on the rear L. I think that's a good direction. And I feel like the front door was not addressed as well as it could have been. And then the other comment is on the left mass on the south elevation. I do think that it does feel large for the site, which is probably mitigated by the two adjacent lots. That there's some open space to the left and right of it. But maybe the second floor mass comes back and the first floor mass stays where it is, so that that's not actually a gable on the side. I don't know, just a thought, but I echo my fellow board members that have commented so far regarding the left side mass. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Val?
I agree about the pitch. I think that's what's been throwing it off for me all along. Everything around it are big, wide boxes with shallow roofs. Eliminate the skirt on the roof walk, and I don't think it would hurt it. It would be more typical with the ones around it. And I like that he changed it to 6/6. I almost think the dormer just on this front mass, additive mass, should not be flush. It's okay, the ones in the back, but I didn't see any around in the area like that, especially facing the street. That's it.
Thanks. I agree with Val. It sounds like we're going to need to have some more revisions.
Could I
Yep.
ask one question before
Yeah.
we go on? The height is something like 32 something. Is that because of the
FEMA?
FEMA? Or is
Dan,
that,
are you FEMA there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're in a floodplain. So, yeah, the first floor has to be about, 3.5 feet off grade to meet that. So, yeah, that is a FEMA issue.
We don't have a cert. Okay, so Ben, let's get supplemental information being the format and completed. And is there a motion for additional information and revisions?
So moved.
Can I get this clarification? So you're looking for certification that we are in a floodplain?
Yeah, so the engineer can print up, the surveyor engineer can print up a format. It's literally called that at the FEMA
Format.
site, and it'll have that basic information. And then
Okay.
that will follow through for permitting processes.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Let's see, I'll, Abby,
Angus
on your
is-
motion?
aye, but it was Angus.
Angus, well, we'll pass credit around later. Angus,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay. Let's see, 12.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Valley. Matt, we're going backwards. I'm sorry, that means you're penalized on time.
I'm so sorry. I just got off the boat and,
You're going to share?
yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and again, apologies for being late.
You're fine.
You guys are moving so quick these days. So I'll just start with some site photographs. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to go out there. Just to remind everybody, this is a renovation addition to an existing structure out in Matacasham. It's probably best to start with this site plan or site satellite view, just to show where Matacasham Valley Road is, or the traveled way is, versus where this structure is. You can see it's got the red pin in it. So this structure is set very far back from the road. I think the paper road goes further in front of the existing structures, but the traveled way is the road indicated to the north on this GIS map. We just got some other photographs of the houses in the area for context. So I'll just jump right to the elevations because that's probably the most important. So we focus mostly on some minor massing edits and some fenestration changes and some secondary additive massing portions. I'll also say too, I mean, not to be fatalistic about this, but the owner fully anticipates that this structure is going to be in the ocean probably in 10 years. So they're basically just trying to make use of the structure for as many years as they can and make it work for them. There was some discussion about, starting over because there's some history to the house for them personally. They really want to kind of keep it. So long and short of it, I'll just run through the revisions. So on the north elevation left side, we did drop the plate of that eave line. So it steps down about a little less than a foot than the primary eave. We changed all the window types to 2/1. There's some fenestration on the rear of the structure that is just single pane, large glazing. And there was some discussion about trying to either embrace that. All the studies that we did where we embraced that fenestration type, it started to look like this. I don't think it was very successful. And so we thought that this would be a good compromise, if you would, where we have 2/1s. So there's some correlation or threading between the rear and the front. We also added a front porch across the front of the structure. We're trying to keep the structure fairly simple in terms of its architectural detailing because that's what the existing structure is. I'll just run through the other elevations quickly. So on the rear, again, we made some fenestration changes, primarily 2/1s. Again, we maintained that existing window type, what we're calling the A-type. We did switch out the really large scale sliders to a more traditional slider, if you will. That's the third window in on the second floor. And then just made some minor modifications to the first floor fenestration, if you will. Other than that, I think that those are all the changes. And with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. So your board is myself, Ray, Abby, Angus, and Carrie.
I can start.
Please.
So I had a chance to sort of review this whole presentation more thoroughly. It is far from the actual road. I was concerned that you were moving it up inside the setback and what it would be like to be driving right by this front porch, but that's not the reality. That for me, that was the largest thing. Also, all the expanses of wide open glass on the back side actually already exist, particularly on the second floor. And now that you're moving it further away from where the visibility would be potentially, which would be the beach and the bluff, I think it's completely immaterial. Like, I don't see the need to have it overly munted because I don't believe anybody's going to actually see it. So I'm fine with this proposal.
Thanks. Thanks, Ray. Let's see, Abby?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Carrie.
Thank you, because I still am confused about where it's proposed to be. If you go to the that photograph, the large scale, whatever, overhead photograph, you can see the faint line of another road up. Yeah. So where the driveway comes off next to that other house, it's going up there. It's not going into the green way up at the top at Matacasham. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's still 100 feet away from the traveled Matacasham Road.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd say it's probably
Go ahead.
more than that. But
Okay. Okay. So yeah. And then I'll just say I'm totally on board as well.
Thanks. Let's
Sorry to
see.
interrupt.
Val? Or no, I'm sorry, Angus?
I agree with Ray.
Angus. Abby?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with this. Thank you.
Okay. So I was one of primarily concerns. Primarily one-story structures, camp style, ranch style, mostly camp, additive massing, really quintessential Nantucket beach area. My concern is that those types of structures have defined this area for nearly 100 years. We are, with this structure, to my mind, moving towards an inappropriate, much better than the Cisco era, where those two-story structures started popping up, but nonetheless, two-story structures that are inappropriate. And compounding it is the fact that the second floor windows, that, you know, simple things like burying the top plate and burying the header into the top plate, the porch heights being so tall, to me, whether it's 100 feet from the street or not, it changes the character and setting. And I think that at least a nod to reducing the height by at least a foot and reducing some of the structural elements that stand out is at least somewhat beneficial. Those are my thoughts. What would we like to do?
I'd go along with your suggestions if you were to make a motion, so.
I have one question through the chair. Is the height changing on what's existing?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no.
Thank you.
Right. It's the presentation of the proportion of the fenestration, correct, Matt?
I believe that's probably what's contributing to it, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's the existing frame is staying intact in the main mass.
Before I make my motion, I'm just gonna say, there are, as the photos show, this isn't the only big box out there. So I'm gonna move to approve this as submitted.
Let's see, on your motion,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and Abby,
Aye.
and Alma, no, for the record.
And
All right.
one comment to Matt, you said it's gonna fall in the ocean in 10 years. I think,
I don't,
Yeah, do we get
I
to
think-
take the house
I
down?
think, yeah, I think you mean your clients will take it down before it happens.
Was that part of your motion, Ray, that if it's still there in 10 years, it has to be
Please,
dismantled?
We can make it that way.
Prefer we do-
We voted, let's move on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we are going on to,
Vestal,
and you're chair.
Right?
Yes.
yeah, okay, so 85 Vestal, I'm chairing. Abby's on this, Val, Angus, Connie. Our applicant is in
I have
the
a
room.
question before we start.
Yes.
How many times has this been in here?
4?
Three,
Okay,
I think.
I'll trust you on that.
One was
Sounds
you.
right.
It's got to be at least the third, maybe yeah.
yeah, I would say.
All right, well, all right, so we were all cognizant of that fact, all right?
And Mr. Chairman, you do have a butter representative
Would
here.
that be you?
That would be me, and you have one in the
Okay.
file.
This is the fourth, okay.
All right. Okay, your eye, I guess you have the mic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after last meeting, I did some few bigger changes where I rotated the building or the whole site and moved the cabana or shed further back, so it's not all in the facing Vestal Street. It's a little more open space or more open up from Vestal. And then I did some changes to the building on the north side where the ridge, if you could scroll down on the elevations, please, you'll see where the ridge gets on the north or west, further down, yeah, right there. I changed the north ridge to lower it so it's not sticking up high above the Duke's Road, or it's not as visible from Duke's Road. And kind of reduce actually some retaining walls by sloping the grade and made the retaining walls less visible. Also, if you could scroll up actually to the side section, that section shows, Alex, you mind scroll up to the side section? That section shows actually how the grade drops down and how much visibility there is from Duke's Road and planting that we are proposing on property line on the north side, and how much the other way. And how much the planting actually blocks the view, and how, one down, the other way. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so this side section shows the view from Duke's Road, and the proposed planting that will be on the property line, which will block the view at the house, and then there is like those two 3D views showing how it should be visible or not visible from Duke's Road, with all the plantings that are kind of light green. So hopefully that helps seeing how much visibility there is, and it's not actually as tall as it might look. And then I didn't do much more changes to the house because I never commented on any other issues. Hopefully that's all.
Good.
Should be all.
Do you want to speak?
Comment?
Sure, Alex, the landowner, and it's from Yuri. My understanding was that the retaining walls were a concern at the HDC, and we have made those smaller, and I think from my perspective, 81 Vestal and 87 Vestal have substantially larger retaining walls, and they did a tremendous job covering those up with natural vegetation and and earth. And I just wanted to reiterate that is also how we're going to handle the retaining walls at 85 Vestal.
Thank you. Linda, I guess it's your turn.
Yeah, you have a letter from the guy below this in your file. I believe it's from Fred Lovejoy. He expressed a lot of the same concerns that you guys have expressed in the past, apparently. The retaining walls are a big issue for them. We have worked, I've worked on a lot of structures on the lower side, including a couple on the upper side, including 89, who I represent, which is not 87, it's 89. He's direct abutter further, the next one out, Vestal, and he's concerned. He actually owns all the way down to Duke's Road, which this lot does not. This lot's on top of two other of my clients. And he was able to tie into sewer, which is why he has a house of that size. And I brought the retaining walls in for his, and we had to screen them. But he worked generally with the existing grade. He didn't flatten out the top part of it, because when he built the original house and then a garage, he didn't really change the grade up on Vestal. He's actually level with Vestal. Unlike 81, who went over the cliff from Vestal and then went over the cliff again down to Duke's Road. That was a mistake, that project, in my opinion. I thank God it wasn't on here when that happened. They've got the same concerns. The extent and the height of those retaining walls, the land's going to have to be cleared. If you've been up there, they've begun to sort of flesh out the middle of the lot. My client at 89, which is the immediate abutter, is worried about the screening going away on the pool side and the patio side, because they're running them right up to this lot line. The structure, between the structure and the garage, they run setback to setback, which is something that some of you have mentioned over and over and over again as sheer scale. They also, as far as I know, are not on sewer, and the health department's going to have a little bit of a problem with more than 2 bedrooms. But we've got grade changes, which should be done, fleshed out by a surveyor, because when there's this much grade changing, cutting and filling and flattening and big retaining walls, normally, in my case, you've asked me for a surveyor to actually tag it and show you what's going on as a section, which only a surveyor can do. The mass of the structure, I appreciate that it's gone down. From the Vestal Street side, it looks pretty much like ours at 89. However, the whole projecting piece going towards Duke's Road is very long, very massive, and is going to be visible from Duke's, because I've done the work on the ones on below. So we're having an issue with the screening, with the massing. It's overdone on this small lot. This lot is a fraction of the size of our lot next door, as I said, because we own all the way down to Dukes Road. This is a 20,000 and change square foot lot. And it's got a lot of ground cover, I mean, a lot of structure and a lot of volume, which would be inappropriate up on that section of Vestal. I don't know if anybody's been able to go out both way, down below and above. But all that screening is going to disappear because they're constructing over almost the entire lot. So don't count on screening.
Okay, Linda, thank you. Holly,
Oh, I've got Holly's here if you want them. Yeah, she pretty much dovetailed what the neighbors have said also. They need to work with the existing natural landscape,
Right.
not the cut and fill, and take your previous comments into account, which doesn't seem to have happened except for here and there, small tweaks, but I'm not sure they're gonna be able to build the amount of bedrooms they're thinking they're gonna build according to the health department.
okay. Thank you again, Holly. All right, board members. Who's ready? Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
I'm happy to start.
Angus.
So I've just been searching through the agenda and minutes to try to go back to 6:3 when this was last heard to be able to see the previous site plan.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing the 30-foot setback and the houses on it. And I remember us being concerned about how the structures were imposing on Vestal and wanting to have them either reduced and or moved back. And maybe this is just going to be a question through the chair to the applicant. Were these parallel with the street setback before and now they're angled? Is that what's happened? Thank you. So my concerns are still the same. The scale and proximity of these buildings to Vestal. And I appreciate the reductions, but they aren't nearly enough. 8 inches here and, a foot there, and it's not changing the perception. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Who's next?
I can go.
All right, Connie.
So I think this is the 4th time this has come before us, and I don't see any real substantial changes to what we've all said. I'll say the same thing. I think it's too dense. There's too much of, there's just too much on this property. I'm concerned about the grade changes. I'm concerned about the amount of structures. And, I'm just looking at the proposed west elevation. So you went from a much smaller, God, I can't even talk today. It doesn't look like, supposedly there were changes, but you went from on the top, oh my gosh, I know, I'm losing it. The hip roof changed to gable forward, but then there's this huge pane of glass. It just doesn't look like there were any substantial changes, and it even looks like things were even made bigger. So I still have the same concerns that I've said for the last 3 or 4 times. It's just too much on this little piece of land, and we haven't even looked at anything other than the main house. Thank you.
Right. Okay, Connie, thank you. Let's see.
Dormers,
Abby
the
and-
dormers.
Dormers. Okay. Val and Abby.
Do you want to go, Val?
No.
Okay. So I agree with my fellow board members about the density and the fact that it doesn't seem to have changed all that much. Maybe it's askew now to Vestal, but it still has the same impact. And thank you for all these drawings and these 3D, because they really show how much retaining wall and that basement room coming out, all of that just is so unnatural with the landscape. I'd like to see sort of a bit, definitely a reduction in the whole massing of that main house and some softer landscaping. So, thank you.
Abby, thank you. Val, unfortunately, it's down to you. You gotta come clean.
I've been looking at this thing all damn day. It's not the house in and of itself for me. I think it's the composition of many structures on the site, and more significantly, I looked on the real estate website, and what astounded me, and I know this is a few designs ago, is the sheer magnitude of the retaining in the wall that is necessary for the pool being where it is. So the house in and of itself, I think if it was on this lot by itself, it could be fine. I do appreciate the changes that Uri made. I'd like to see the pool completely relocated, and that would mitigate a huge impact of from down below on Dukes. And yes, I thank Uri too for the cross sections. They really are telling. You know, you can drive up and down that road and try to figure out where it is. And by identifying the house here, 32, it's really, that's helpful. So the house in and of itself is not my concern. It's the overall composition. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Val, thanks. And for me, I think it's what everyone else has kind of hinted at, which is the trailing down the hill is resulting in a very large, massive north elevation that goes, you know, from the basement way low, 1, 2, really at least 3 stories high, as seen from down below, and the accompanying retainage, which a lot of people have already mentioned. The pool is an issue also because of the retainage. Those are my comments. All right, folks, we got to do, well, I'm going to leave it to somebody to make a motion for me.
So how's this rule working of 3 times and more out? It's, this is the 4th time and there hasn't been substantial change, so what are our options? Because the requests for revisions aren't landing.
Can I just a little comment? Those,
Yeah.
we pretty much reduced as many retaining walls as possible, and they are all down low, and they are blocked from view from Duke's Road by all the plantings and houses. So I didn't think that would have any impact really on the or any visibility there. So there is reduced amount and reduced height on that mass, which is kind of substantial change. Also, location on the lot, you know, rotating it on the lot, moving around the other structure. I think it was also a pretty substantial change to, you know, to change the whole layout of the lot.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
just, I don't, I think the concept might be, could be curbed a little, because right now, the whole idea is to look out over the hill, down the hill, and out, and that's where we're running into problems, rather than looking back into the site itself. it's just sort of, it's sort of wide open. And that means that we see the retaining walls, the basement doors, the pool, and all that retaining wall, which is pretty tall stone. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Okay.
And from Vestal, there will be like second floor visible from of the house because of the natural landscape. There is a bump, almost a berm before the driveway, so it blocks the view at the house from the south elevation. And the north has all the plantings and the houses. I mean, neighbors can proudly see them during direction, but not from Dukes Road.
You know, I'm looking at the guest house right now, which has very little retainage. And it scales down the building.
Right.
Now, not that you want your main house to be your guest house, but like, there is an example right on the same site of a building that I think is much more in keeping with what the board is actually looking for. Less manipulation of the grade, less retainage, and a scaled down massing as we move further down the hill. So I personally don't want to move this for denial yet. Although I do think that we need to have some more substantial changes. That's just my view. But we should make a motion of some kind.
I do want to say, I appreciate the placement of the cabana as opposed to the last one. It gives that space between the two buildings. I think that's a positive from down below. And I think, yeah, if everything sort of moved back, might work.
Moved back.
Meaning toward Vestal.
Yeah.
So there's less spilling over the edge,
Oh.
primarily the pool. That isn't the same as what's shown other places.
Maybe we could I could make a motion for some major changes instead of these small cuts.
Okay. That's good. I like that. Shall we take that for a test drive? Let's see. We're all live. Yeah, okay, so all those in favor of Abby's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and can we also have a motion, you know, seeing as this might affect the general layout on site, which has been discussed at this hearing? We'll have the other three applications track again. Does that sound fair?
Yes, that's my motion.
All right, so Abby's motion is to have the other three applications to track. All those in favor say aye.
What does it mean, major changes? Change the site layout or changes to the house?
I think what you've heard over and over is the overall composition
Right. Retainage.
and placement on the site.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Back to me?
Yeah, back to you. It's Orange Street, 43.
Okay, 43 Orange Street is going to be myself, Abby, Angus, Connie, and Joe. Color change. Tori, good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Ready for me? Did everyone
Yeah,
have
please.
I don't know if we needed a view, just to refresh your memory. It's been a while since we've been before you. Last time was September 10th of this past fall. So at that meeting, of course, the colors that have been painted were not favorable to the board, and we had put in an application with Hamilton blue suggested. We were trying to figure out what the blue was down on Old North Wharf. She has since, I believe, spoken to Holly and or Kathy And they said it was Newport blue, which I brought a sample of this evening, both a semi-gloss and a full gloss. But I'm happy if you want to take a closer look. And I would, of course, update the application accordingly based on our conversation this evening. What she is proposing is to change the front door to a Fine Paints of Europe high gloss Newport blue, and then the Storms windows themselves to a, if you approve and would consider it, a satin or semi-gloss of Newport blue, with the Storm windows, which are now painted that darker blue, painted white. And of course, we're open to your discussion of if you prefer something different, but that's what we're proposing, and just wanted to get your feedback currently. Oh, and the clapboard color would remain as is on the application, which is cliffside gray.
Anything else?
That's it.
You guys have read comments from Holly. Mickey, you guys got anything?
Yeah, so as I understand it, Tori's suggesting that the window sash remain a blue color and the storm windows are painted white. Is that correct?
Yep, that's a suggestion, yep.
Thank you. Okay, so, my perception of that area of town, Orange Street, that sort of more formal area is none of the houses have blue sash. I can't picture a blue sash kind of almost anywhere in town. It's mostly either white or Essex green or some very dark color, maybe black in some cases, but not blue. So, the door, Hamilton blue, Newport, I'm not familiar with Newport blue, but blue for the door might be fine, but the sash really should be, I think, more traditional in keeping with the neighborhood, green, dark green or white. And that's it. So like one other thing, that the trim on the application says Hamilton blue. I assume the trim will remain white, not be painted blue.
Yeah, I think I was referring to the window trim.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be myself, Abby, Angus, Connie, and Joe. Why don't we go with Joe?
Can I comment? I'd like to hear my fellow
wait?
board members. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Sure. Why don't we go with Abby? I know she wants to speak.
Yeah, I do, because I just want to clarify some things too, because on your application, it says sashes and storms as well would be the same color. So that means the storms around the windows would also be the Newport blue. It wouldn't just be the sash. And I agree with Mickey that I've never seen, this is when it comes right down to it, this is a pretty bright color. It's got a lot of, color in it. And I've never seen a sash with that much impact. So I don't mind it on the door, but I just don't see it on the sash. Thank you.
Joe, you ready?
Sure. On the application, I just wanted to make sure that the trim gets gets corrected, that we don't have that end up being blue. I'm fine with the door color. The sash color, honestly, I'm on the fence. I think once these storms are over this, that it's gonna mute the color behind it. But I think, yeah. Sorry, I'm still on the fence regarding the appropriateness of the sash color.
Okay.
I'm okay with the door color, but I'm not convinced of the sash being appropriate.
So I remember Orange Street as Mickey was describing. And just to confirm, I took a drive this afternoon from Main Street down to Cumberland Farms sort of assessing, and all the high contrast, like darker color doors or sash, they're except for like a red here and a black there, it's pretty much all a dark green, a really dark green, and definitely no blue. And as the fellow commissioners have said, blue for the door, if like everything else was white, would be one thing, but I'm not sure that even a dark green sash with a blue door would really work. So I'm okay with the blue door, not okay with blue sash. Thank you.
Connie?
Through you, Mr. Chair, can I ask Tori a
Yeah.
question? So currently, it's painted a brighter blue, the door and the sash
And the storms.
and the storm. So you're proposing the same?
Nope. So the application reads what we originally applied for in September in response to the original violation or brought to the HGC's attention. But since then, after confirming with HGC administration, they've gone from what they thought was Hamilton blue to Newport blue, which is this sample.
Okay.
And so, of course, I know I need to update the application accordingly as part of wherever we land this evening. But we're definitely planning on the storms going back to white and open to your opinion about the window sash color only. The trim I was referring to was the window sash, not the trim on the house.
Right. I am definitely okay with the door. It's a pretty bright blue that it's currently. And I'm kind of on the fence too about the windows because they are that brighter blue. So that would tone it down dramatically, I think. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not really opposed to it, I don't think. So, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, I guess that leaves, I guess you're done. Yeah, color of door is fine, not the trim for me. What do we want to do? Oh, and, yeah, we just want, anything I think needs to know the trim colors. Not gonna change. A motion?
Motion to approve the blue that's proposed for the door and that the sash go back to white from the blue that they're painted now.
Okay, on your motion,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
Great, thank you very much.
Super. We're gonna hold 11 Davis Street for requested applicant's agent. Are there any abutters in the queue? Can you, if there's anyone here to speak on 11 Davis, please put your hand up. Nothing? All right, so now we're on to 34 Liberty, replace front door windows. It's myself, Abby, Angus, Val, and Joe. Linda, you're up.
Okay. Okey dokey. We, as far as the front door is concerned, we had it scanned because it's so detailed, and I showed you in the pictures in your packets, and it's very detailed. We had it scanned, and then we had it rendered. So when somebody goes to replace it and replace the door, they have exactly the measurements and the design of it. We're scanning a lot of these structures now. The windows, they are going to be true divided light, Boston sash, Nantucket profile.
That's it?
You can't rehab them. I rehabbed them. I did a window by window. There are 2 windows on the south side, 2 windows on the north side, and the front windows are 9 windows, and I numbered them all on the grid. And they can't be rehabbed. A lot of them don't fit in the frames anymore. They're Broscos from 1930s. And I don't know if you all know the history of Brosco, but Brosco was the only wood window guy from the
Linda,
late 1800s.
Let's not go crazy.
I know, but they only last for 20 years on a good day, and they've gotten quite a lot of time out of them, and they're falling apart. Some of the panes don't fit in there, the sashes don't fit, they're broken. It's a lovely window. So we're gonna go to a Boston sash this time with Nantucket profile and TDL.
Okay, let's see, Mickey?
Yeah, I'm not terribly concerned about these particular windows. They're not of a vintage that I think we would normally be concerned with. It's more of a, if they could be salvaged, that would be great. More of a question and concern about the waste of materials than the age. And then just a comment about the door, just to make sure that you just say it's scanned, that's all good to get all the exact dimensions, and it's a 3D scan, so it'll cover the depth of that projected, the top piece. So that's all fine. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Val?
I have no concerns. I worked on this house a lot with Vlad, and a lot of the windows in the back in the addition are newer windows.
Okay. Angus?
My experience is an older window is going to last longer than a newer window, hence the 85 years or 90 years or however long these have lasted. I agree with Mickey about the waste, but that's not really our purview. I just believe any window is going to be a temporary one. But as long as it's true divided light and Nantucket profile, yeah, I'd rather see the old windows be restored. Thank you.
Joe?
I appreciate the scan, and I'd support what the applicant has presented with respect to the TDLs and the Nantucket profile. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Joe. What do we want to do here? Oh, Abby, I'm sorry, you didn't
Abby
go.
didn't go.
Okay, I appreciate the scanning of the front door because it's a really beautiful front door. And I just wanted to ask you what the trim is staying the same, that sort of battleship gray?
Everything's a like kind, basically.
Okay, excellent. I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Motion to approve it.
Thank you. Let's see, Val?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank
good to
you.
go. Ray, back to you.
Yep, 3 Pops Lane. Okay. We're doing the guest house, garage, and pool tonight. Myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
Mr. Chairman, you want to read that again?
Me?
Yep. Ray Poll,
Yeah, myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
Connie.
Okay, Mr. Catone.
Are we doing the pool first?
We're doing the guest house first.
All right.
Pool garage.
So when we met last, Mark Catone, representing the applicant, Michael Kizelbach, one of the owners, is in the audience. Their council submitted a letter for some clarification relative to some concerns of the abutters for the benefit of the board. We last met actually last Tuesday, and as it related to this application, specifically the guest house, I don't believe there was a lot of, or any architectural concerns per se, but the discussion really circled around location of the building as proposed. This is, as a reminder, an existing structure built in the circa 1980s. It is standing today on the east side of the lot, and it has been, it is outlined here in its existing location now. The board made a request for ridge poles, which we located here and here. So the taller ridge poles are towards Hither Creek. The lower poles are that's a single-story addition proposed to the structure to the south. In addition to the request of the ridge poles, there was a request for alternative site plan, which we also provided, which was this site plan here, where we rotated the structure and we moved it 47 feet back from the original proposal. So now it sits along the south side of the lot, and we rotated it back. in this proposal, if the board, the applicant still prefers its original placement, but if that still remains a concern for the board, we will certainly happy to present the second option. I think the board, not to put words in their mouth, but I expected maybe a proposal tack on the east side. It just felt like so much structure on top of structure, and giving more breathing room between the buildings felt more successful. The property immediately to the south, the Moran property, sits at 22.5 feet to ridge. The building to the left of that is 26 feet to the ridge. This is 21 feet 6 inches. And again, if you saw, for those who did the viewing, were able to see the building as it exists today, so you get a good sense of its scale. The other piece that might be helpful is just looking at the again, what we did is, disappeared. Here we go. So looking at, again, this is where the ridge poles were mounted on Friday. They are in the original location. We have since provided a site plan sliding it back 47 feet south, away from Hither Creek. We also looked at all up and down the coast and surveyed the ridge heights up and down Hither Creek to our property at 3 Pops. And as you know, and we've studied these, we've seen these photos before when we were here previously, ridge heights vary anywhere from as high as, I think we've got 27 feet down to 11 feet in some areas. So there's quite a varying height in ridges right down, right in front to the east of us, we're at 27.7. Brands, as I said, is 22.6 right behind us. To the right of Pops Lane is 26 feet even. Our second dwelling is at 16 feet 4 inches, so we're looking at a difference of about 5 feet between our proposed recycling of the structure to the existing dwelling. It is, again, we're trying to recycle that structure versus it going to the dump. Trying to reduce its height, I think as Connie said last week, would result in a deconstruction of the building. We're trying to preserve the rafter frame and the majority of the frame and just simply add to it. We could probably do a mud sill to get a few more inches out of it, getting down to maybe 21 even. But I think the breathing room and the distance between the structures is valuable. So I think with that, we welcome any additional comments. Thank you.
Okay. Mark, thanks.
Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to read Holly's comments, but it also said that they were supposed to look into, and most everybody on the board supported leaving it where it is, roughly where it is now, where it's sort of couched behind the main mass, because this is not a primary structure. The ones he's talking about further east on the creeks are primary structures on much smaller lots. So they sort of fit with each other. It's not on an open space like this. And we have pictures, they were sent to you this afternoon because they only went out in the boat late yesterday. I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at them, but there were pictures sent to you this afternoon from the creeks, which the HDC has absolute jurisdiction over. We're not asking, contrary to the letter from the attorney, which I don't agree with at all, the easement is not before you, has nothing to do with you, so it shouldn't have been included. As far as the architectural appropriateness and setting, that is within your jurisdiction. Nobody's asking you, and we haven't brought it up on our side, to protect the neighbor's view, because that is also not within your purview. If by chance, when you approve whatever this is going to end up with, it improves their view or protects their view, that's great. But we're not making the claim on this as to protecting our view. we are protecting the context of Old Nantucket along the creeks. And those pictures were taken coming into Nantucket Harbor, or into the creeks, actually, into Hither Creek. And you can perfectly see them standing out by themselves. Now, again, this is a secondary dwelling, not a primary dwelling. Where it is located right now, I believe Angus asked for them to look at that. It can't be simply because they don't want to do it, because it would appear that they have the ability to leave it where it is, have it track with the main house, and add the one-story additions onto it. What you can't forget is that this is 48 feet long. And if you're gonna entertain the second proposed location, then he needs to move those poles to that location. Because we were confused when we saw the poles, and then we saw the new proposed location. We had no idea which one they really were. So, and we did submit the memo with the other pictures of the context of those poles. And those poles are standing out, like we've all said, and like Holly said as well, as this thumb in the middle of a one-story structure next to their nice design for their main house structure. And the Moran's is not all at 21 feet. There's smaller parts to it. It's a very contained house, not spread out. So we are continuing to object to this moving over that far. It needs to move back to where it is now. Put the small garage over there where it would normally be next to a driveway, wherever the driveway goes at this point. We're not sure about that either, because it wasn't marked, so we're not sure where it's being relocated to. But we have a great deal of trouble with this whole thing moving. Forget the view. We have the problem with the fact that it's out of context and out of scale compared to the rest of it. We'd like them to have an opportunity, as was asked the last meeting, to leave it where it is, or roughly where it is over there on that side, so it is related to the primary dwelling and not stuck out there by itself with a height that doesn't match anything around it. Did you have anything to add? Paul Moran, I believe, is up there, Fiona. But we were pretty explicit why we had a lot of problems with it in the memo you got on Monday.
You're finished, Linda?
We'll obviously have comments about the pool, because that's totally
All right,
inappropriate.
we're not there yet.
But it should, one of the other things we really wanted to point out, that the footprint should be reduced
Hang on,
in
Paul.
size.
What did that?
Somebody do
Paul, he's
something.
coming in
Linda's
now.
still talking.
Is he up there?
Mr. Ryan, you can speak.
Do we have a timer somewhere?
Yeah, he's up there.
So Linda, you're finished.
At the moment, unless somebody has any questions. I think
Okay.
our
No,
memos
no.
have been very clear.
Okay. Paul?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right. We appreciate the adjustments that have been made on the main house and the continued efforts by the applicant to come to a satisfactory agreement. We feel that the building should stay where it is located and add on to the existing structure. Moving it and adding on would exceed the height and low-density feeling of Old Nantucket. It would be visible from the creek, Smith Point, Hobbs Lane, and Washington Avenue. The proposed new garage would have less visible impact with its smaller form, lower density, and does not overwhelm the site or the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Anything to add?
Anyone else? Good?
Yep, for now.
Everybody good?
For now.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn it over to the board once again. Myself, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
I'm happy to start.
Angus, thank you.
So I thought there was consensus on what we were looking for was putting the height poles up where it was proposed at the last meeting, and also looking at re-siding it where the proposed garage was, because we didn't really have an issue with the design of the garage. It was just the placement we thought might work better if the two were swapped. And instead of the garage proposal or the guest house proposal moving east from the west, it came south. And it just, visiting there again today and looking at the height poles and the view shed from Nantucket Road as you go down Pops Lane, it just is a staggering, thought to have a building of that height in that wide open sort of grassland there. The clustering of it in with the other structure seems to make much more sense, either in the present location or where we had talked about before, where the proposed garage is. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Who's next?
I'll try.
Val.
Yeah.
All right.
I also think that the location where it is right now would work because the building is now facing this, oh, you're not moving it, right? You're just modifying it.
Which?
The main house.
Main house doesn't.
Right. So it seems to me the view from those doors on the second floor are already in the perfect location to look out over the house that's not getting bigger. And the one-story additions just trail off the back, and I think the architecture is appropriate, it's just where it's gonna sit on the site. And I think keeping it in the general location where it is the right spot.
Okay, Val, thank you. Abby, Connie.
I can go.
Abby?
I kind of agree with Val, and I think the original idea of having it closer to the main building, it keeps it compact and not so spread out. I think my only concern, I just wish it wasn't that long. I wish it was a smaller, a third, 2/3 the size, or take a third off is what I mean.
We're talking about the guest house.
Yeah, the guest house.
Okay.
Yeah, and I prefer the original placement of it instead of across from the driveway.
Where it is now?
No, where it's proposed, I guess.
Yep, look, this is what was proposed before,
Yeah.
this is what is the Plan
Yeah.
B.
And this is
And
where it
this is
sits
where
now.
it was,
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah, Plan B, spreads it out. And, yeah, so the first, yeah, what,
That's where it is right now, and
Yeah.
it could just trail back right there.
yeah,
Abby, good?
good. Thanks.
Okay. Connie?
Yeah, I have no issues with the architectural content of the building. I guess I'm confused now about the proposed and where it was and,
Through the chairman, I address that. Seems to be a little confusion. If that's okay if I address that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Our understanding, we walked out last week, you wanted ridge poles in this location as you see on the screen behind you. We already had originally proposed it. The ridge poles that were observed from Friday forward are in that location, the original application. You also asked for an alternative site plan, which was this one. So we complied with the ridge poles as requested in the original applied for application. We also provided a secondary application where we slid this back 48 feet from the original proposal where it was up here and relocated the drive forward of the structure. So giving, we thought, more breathing room between the two. And then over here, Connie, that dotted line, that's where it exists today.
It's a different shape.
thank you, yeah, because I can see it says garage, so that's,
Addition on it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Hang on, folks.
I'm actually okay with the way, where it is.
Wait, I'm confused. What does that
The
mean?
first one or the alternative one?
Where it is now?
That one. Yes.
That one,
Yes.
the original submission.
And, yeah,
Okay. that it? Okay, so I think like everyone else, I think the architecture of this renovated building, which I applaud you doing, is good. Although, you know, I think that leaving the building where it is an option. I don't think it's the only option. I look at this, it's a large lot. The building that we're discussing right now is not tall relative to a lot of the neighbors. And there's room enough to put this in a number of places, as Mark has demonstrated on this site. So I don't think that, as seen from the creeks, that you know, this is going to stand out as an aberration, particularly given, you know, the context that I've seen that's taken from the water. So am I not in favor of leaving it where it is? No, because I think that this idea of having a nice compact footprint is great, but I don't think, I will not be a member who is going to insist on that. I actually think that the other options are viable as well. Those are my comments. So, what should we do, folks?
I would make a motion to explore a revision of it being where I thought we were going last time, which is moving it to here, from there to there. Not necessarily, I think that would be better. From the creek, it would really be obstructed, but it's this view shed from here over that's just wide open. If it were, you know, in the neighborhood, anywhere to the east, where they're 2-story, 1.5-story, lots of structures, it would just blend in with the rest. But in this location, it's just like a wide open field.
Okay. So Angus, you're moving for revisions to citing, I would say, right?
Yes, that's the short version. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All those in favor of Angus's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right,
Are
very
you
good.
holding the rest?
Well,
gonna switch
the
obviously, if it
change.
moves, the garage is gonna have to move someplace. And, yeah. Mark, if you don't have any objections, let's just hold these, okay? I think once we have resolution to the guest house.
But can I just get clarity on just clarity one more time?
Yeah.
It sounds like we had 3 members from the unit itself, of course, not opposed to this location or maybe the secondary location. It seems that there were 2 members that preferred actually the original location after the viewing. And we have 2 members that were looking for an alternative location to the east again. And that, Ray, again, not to speak for you, you're not opposed to this location and you're open to possibly other locations as well on the Lincoln scale lot.
You got it.
All right, I guess I'm just trying to figure out where to go with that, given there seems to be a majority of the board that it was not opposed to its
Well, how can that be if
location.
there's two?
Maybe I misunderstood.
No.
Abby seemed to be fine with this location, Connie seemed to be okay with this location, and Ray, you seem to say you're okay with this location as well as other locations in the lot.
Yeah.
So where do so are we appeasing to 2 members of the board?
Wait, okay. Were you okay with it where it was?
Yeah,
Maybe
Where
I
the poles are?
misunderstood
yeah, but I wouldn't mind going out and having another look, so give us one more
you.
chance.
Okay, well, I'm gonna entertain Angus's motion. Yeah, I think that's a wise thing to do right now. So all those in favor of Angus's motion, say aye.
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 What was his motion?
It-
Oh, to,
it was
To
to-
investigate other locations.
Yeah, to the east, where the proposed garage is,
Right.
or somewhere between there and the existing site.
Right.
okay.
Next time I'm gonna get more clarity on who exactly likes option A, B, C, whatever.
I think
Okay.
A is better than B, which comes across.
Right. Okay, Well, we're gonna have all the options in front of us, okay, Mark?
All right,
When you
thank
come
you.
back, we'll just review them all.
Mr.
Okay,
Chairman,
that's it. And-
Mr.
and
Chairman,
the-
before you do that,
What?
one question.
One question.
If you're going to entertain, you've seen where these are, we have enough pictures of them. If you're going to entertain the B section, which moves it back,
Right.
those poles should come back and you look at how that impacts.
Oh, I think we get a good general idea of that.
I'm going to go out there.
It's coming closer to Nantucket Road and Washington Avenue.
Wait, hang on, Linda, what did you just say?
I said I've got to go out there.
Okay.
I've just seen the pole, just
All
the
right.
photographs.
Well, I think you can probably infer from where the current poles are, where the alternative poles would wind up being. I don't really feel like it's warranted to have the owner moving these poles all around the place. Okay, so we already took a motion on that, and we're gonna hold the garage and the pool just pending the ultimate location of this guest house, right? Everybody good? Okay, thanks.
All right, new business. Guys, we're at that part of the evening that I love to call the lightning rounds. So let's focus on concerns and non-repetitive comments, please. First up, 68 Shakimo. Good evening, Elizabeth. It's going to be the regular board on these. Voice votes. When you're ready.
Yeah, so this was for the hardscape portion of the site plan. I think last week you approved the swimming pool. So the driveway, we have a retaining wall going at the back of the property because there's a lot of grade here. And if you look at the site overall, like the area we're impacting is actually really small. You can kind of focus on that side. There's a little bit going on around the house, but if you look at the overall site, there's a lot that we're not touching. And it's all away from the public way. It's all well hidden. So those are my comments.
Okay. Let's see, regular board concerns?
Should I start since it was on my consent
Yes,
list?
please. And we'll
There-
follow through with that, except for Connie did CT.
It's a large lot. There's a fair amount going on. And so I didn't want to just send it off for consent without you guys looking at it. I personally don't have any issues with it.
Okay. Does that change anyone's concerns?
Yes,
Abby?
yes. I mean, no, it does not.
Oh, man.
Okay.
No, I have
What do we
no
want to do?
concerns.
Motion to approve is submitted.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Ron Winters will be very happy.
I'm gonna sit off Wood Hollow, please.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
wood-
you're gonna be
no
doing
woodchuck.
that. Okay, Connie, you're gonna sit.
We do have
And-
Joe,
Pardon me?
we do have Joe back there.
Yeah, I don't want to do four
I
in a
know,
row
I
on
got
the
it.
Zoom.
Right.
Connie's here, so I think she was up in the rotation. Let's see, Robbie?
Who's
come
the
on
board,
down.
Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry,
Who's the board?
the board is Angus, Abby, Val, or I'm sorry, not Val, myself, 1, 2, Ray and Connie.
Connie, okay. No Joe?
Joe is an alternate, as is Carrie. And Val is abstaining, or, no, you're abstaining or recused?
I'm recused.
So Val is recused for the record.
Okay.
I'm starting with the new dwelling.
And we're starting with number 2, move off demo dwelling. Per the agenda. Angus, Abby, yourself, Ray, Connie.
Okay, we're going to look at the move or demo first, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, all right, so it's a 1979 build, one-story ranch-style house. It's 2x4 framing, it's got a truss system in the ceiling that's uninsulated. It's It's got some viable structure. There's been a couple of inquiries about moving. One, I think, is fairly serious, but I haven't heard back from them. So hopefully that could be the destiny for at least part of this structure. So that's the proposal here. And if we can't get somebody to take it, we'd like to consider, unfortunately, demo. So.
Thanks, Robbie. I'm going to pause this for just a moment. I have a question for the audience members. What number are you folks here for? What street address? Yeah.
Oh, 6 Starbucks.
Okay, just wanted to make sure after you sat here, it wasn't number one on the consent list, and you've had a wonderful evening watching the HTC without popcorn. Okay, so we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Robbie?
Yeah, that's all I have on that.
You're good to go. Again, it's Angus, Abby, myself, Ray, and Connie for the next 5, presuming we go through them all.
You taking abutters?
Are there abutters? 4. No? Are you speaking on behalf of abutters?
Area residents?
No, wait, whoa.
They contacted me.
On topic by topic.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
demo
want to do
move, no
a
problem.
summary and then individuals.
Yeah, demo
Nothing on the
move.
move off demo?
Demo move, no problem.
Okay, so we don't need to be talking now.
No.
Concerns by the commission?
None.
Angus?
Oh, none.
None. Abby?
I would like to see it reused on the site as a cottage.
Okay. Bill is abstaining. Ray?
Good. With the demo move off.
Connie T?
Me too. Demo, move off.
And, yeah, I'm all right with the demo move up, given the age. Okay, it'd be nice if the materials were used for reconstruction in some way, shape, or form. That has my strong vote. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve demo move off as submitted with a preference for reuse of materials.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. All right, Robbie, now you've got a new dwelling to present.
Okay, yes, we have a new dwelling proposed. The lot size here, I think, is around 65,000 square feet, so we're limited to a 2,000 square foot build out. So there isn't much room for a little guest house or a garage or some sort of an outbuilding. The owner would prefer to use that square footage for living space in the main dwelling. So where the proposal is for a 2-story structure. I believe the height is proposed at the moment around 29 feet. We have some wraparound porches, some first floor forms that help mitigate the height and so forth. So that's I think we can just go and review the elevations and the drawings, and we'll see what recommendations or suggestions you guys come up with. So.
Okay, let's do that.
Any comments from us yet?
Not yet. Any questions from the board for Robbie? No. Linda,
Oh, I believe you got it this afternoon.
timer, please.
Contacted by them.
Regular board, except for Val and Connie. Connie T.
I got the pictures, so I don't know.
I saw this.
That won't carry on.
Hey, Linda.
I like Connie T.
My little brain, you know.
Linda thought the same
Okay,
thing.
Linda, I want to remind you that we are on energy efficient time to get out of here before the lights have to be turned up further, and therefore we are using a timer,
Or they lock us in.
and you may begin subject to such time.
Okay, what you had sent out this afternoon shows you clearly, and I know this lot because I worked with Bart on this a long time ago, trying to do something with it. It's the only one really that's on the street with no screening in front, period. I mean, they've got a bunch of cars. I'm not sure Rob's been out there when they've got like 10 cars in the driveway, but that's being rented to multiple people at the moment till October. It's wide open to the street. It was 1979. All the houses in this area are basically from 1979 when they started to open this area up through the mid-'80s. So most of these houses are older. But they're also, when I showed you the pictures, very simple, compact forms. Most of them have natural or gray trim. Windows are varying, even the white one doesn't have white windows. And they're very low eaves, some of them, but very compact, very simple forms. This design is incredibly large. I understand the limitations on the footprint, that's for sure. It's very large, it's two-story. The eave heights appear to be mostly the same, especially on the front. Very formal front door with glass on the sides and glass in the door. The window configuration is excessive, especially on the south side, which is visible. The only thing that's not visible is probably the east, if we're going east, west, north, and south. Round window probably isn't going to be visible from anywhere unless you airlift in there. But this also is right near the entrance from Milestone Road. And given the height and the lack of vegetation around the structure, the top of it with that round window actually may be visible. But it's just oversized, has nothing to do with the context within which it's located. It's got white trim, white windows. It may not be as objectionable if they vary the eave heights, fix the windows somehow, and not white. So there's a lot of concern in the neighborhood about the actual impact of this structure with so close to the street, without all the screening that everybody else has to protect themselves from the street.
Thank you, Linda.
So there is a lot of concern here, but I think it's atypical for where it's located.
We appreciate your input. It's very important. Okay, who would like to begin?
I can.
Ray.
Yeah, I think that some of Linda's comments resonate with me. It's large and formal. It's very clear that they have a limited footprint because, it's vertical. Yeah, this context out here in this particular section is lower and kind of more cottagey feeling. So this to me feels very formal, very two-story in relation to, in that particular context of Wood Hollow.
Okay, thank you. Abby?
I agree
Angus?
thank you.
I agree. How's that for a lightning round?
Connie?
I agree too.
Did you see that?
I'm going to bring some thunder. I agree too. All right. So we're going to ask for a motion to hold for revisions based upon Ray's comments.
Yep, and that's my motion.
Context.
Excellent. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Carries
And for
unanimously.
the record, they don't have concerns with the cabana and the pool, so that's not an issue.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Now we're going to move on to the cabana.
Want to just track it?
Yeah, don't we want to track that? What if he changes the?
Why don't,
Because it
You want to
might,
track it?
it might telescope back.
Oh, Robbie, I think there's some very good points being made here. Cabana, pool, layout, very important these things coincide and are presented in a holistic fashion. So we will get a motion to hold for Wood Hollow Cabana and pool.
okay, so move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is lightning in a bottle. 16 Wall Street, relocate partial demo renovation. And we will go with, who is next? Joe? Joe, are you available?
I'm here. Yes, I'm available.
Okay, great. And then we'll get Carrie on the next one. Oh, Val, are you sitting off this one?
I can.
Okay. And we'll go from there. Okay,
Okay, we ready?
yeah.
All right, let's jog some memories. This
sounds long.
was a single lot on the corner of Walsh and East Lincoln. So the plan that's up there right now, if we could scroll back to shows, yeah, that's a good one. So this shows the original lot, okay? It's a little bit confusing and layered, but the footprint that has the hash marks on it is the building that is on that lot right now. Okay?
Yep.
The new building is the one that's outlined on the left-hand side. The new property line traverses from north to south there, cutting through the existing building. Okay? Everybody up to speed on that?
Gotta be a punchline here.
There isn't. We're still in the lightning round, right?
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now the newly created lot number 13, which is the one on the right-hand side that borders Walsh Street. Okay? Someone has come, we have approval to demo this building. Someone has come along and purchased it and wants to renovate and move the original structure onto lot 13. We need to lose 400 square feet to comply with zoning. Not only to do that, but in order to physically get it to fit within the setbacks of that parcel. So, the new footprint is shown on the dotted line on the right-hand side. Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so now there's drawings that show how we propose to take off the 400 square feet. And how we propose to reconfigure the floor plan and the elevations. Okay, there's the footprint on the left that's been approved. The footprint on the right is what we're proposing right now.
All right, we got some elevations, Robin?
Yeah.
If we keep going.
Let's get into the
Okay,
HCC eats
here-
with its eyes.
Here is existing and proposed. The top renderings on each quadrant are proposed. The lower ones in each quadrant are existing.
So you're getting rid of that big, long roof on the right-hand side.
Yes.
Of the east elevation to get your ground coverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adding an entry porch. Due to the age of construction here, and I haven't been able to get under the building, I'm assuming that it's non-treated structure, so the BFE for the non-treated wood, I believe, is at 8 feet to the bottom. So this lifts, I think, about 4 feet from the existing grade.
Okay, any other questions, Rick? Any other questions? Mickey, you guys got anything?
Yes. Could you scroll back up to the site plan, please? Proposed site plan. Okay, perfect. Okay, so, it's great they're reusing this building. I think that there's certainly a way of making this work for everybody, I think. What they're doing, though, is they're taking this building in an area where there's normally a 10-foot front yard setback, but because it's a corner lot, they can pick the 10 foot and they put it on East Lincoln. That leaves 5 feet on Wall Street. So the building is really quite close to Wall Street. Every other building along Wall Street is probably at least 10 feet because that would be the normal front yard setback. Plus, they've also stripped the building of all of the one-story. Now you can go down to the elevations. Good, thank you. So there's a few one-story additive masses on this building, which help, ground it to some degree, bring it down. And those have all been removed. So now what we're looking at is a fully two-story building all around, except for the front porch and the side porch they've added. Those are good additions. But so those are the concerns. It's close to Walsh. There's not much in the way of additive massing. They've sort of selectively chosen which pieces to remove to make it fit in. They've kept the two-story pieces. They removed the one-story pieces. And then just to be a little more specific about certain concerns, the north elevation, the top right elevation on that view, is the front of the house, sort of facing East Lincoln, although it's kind of angled, but that is the front of the house. And there's the front door on the first floor. And it's sort of under fenestrated. It's there's the door, and there's a lot of blank wall around it. And then also on the second floor, it's pretty blank too. And then as a result of losing some of these one-story blocks, we have these sort of flush gable with the eave wall, configuration where you'd normally expect to see a corner board or a step back, and that's gone because of what's been removed. So I'm pointing out a few concerns, but not much in suggestions. But that's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, who'd like to begin?
Can I just
Abby?
make sure I'm getting
Yeah.
this right? On the corner of Walsh and East Lincoln, we're talking about the house that is one in, not the one on the corner right now?
One in.
That's where it's moving.
Yeah.
That's moving there, and they're taking off this.
No, I think
A couple of little
Here.
wings.
Exactly.
what that
That
is.
one's already approved.
This one's already
Can
approved.
we go to the, Robbie?
Yep.
The site plan of the proposed is what we want to look at. There you go.
There you go.
Abby? So we're looking at the one on the right.
And this is the one that's been altered?
Well, it's when they're proposing to alter.
Okay. All right,
We're
thank you.
trying to save it from the landfill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reuse, relocation with modification.
Yeah.
But we want to lose sight of the modification, but I'm just to say,
So, now that I'm sure of
what you're looking at. Sure-ish.
Sure-ish. I do think we've lost a bit of additive massing, and I do think it looks a little boxy now, almost like it's just lost a lot of its character.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's see, Angus?
Yeah, I share the same concerns that have been mentioned. Like two things are happening at the same time. The additive massing is going away, and because of the newer regulations, it's getting raised, so it's exacerbating those issues. So also, I share the concern about the crowding on Wall Street as far as the streetscape and other houses that are along there. So, yeah, I would want to see some of that stepped additive massing retained, and if that means pushing it back and changing, one of the other masses, I think that's something I'd want to look at. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, Connie, or I'm sorry, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with every comment by every board member so far. It's nice to see the building be saved, but I think you probably have an opportunity to improve the north elevation, which would be the front. The existing house is very ambiguous and quirky. I mean, you can't tell where the front door is. Maybe by addressing this front facade, you could help to mitigate some of the massing changes that have happened. I'm also wondering whether or not there's some kind of a approach to trim and to the base of this house that would help to ground it visually. The elevations, without having the shingles on them, and some of the texture is probably not helping. I would suggest that, you take a look at a more, I'll say render, but it doesn't have to be rendered. But I like, when I look at this, I'm not sure if we're looking at a exposed concrete foundation or if it's going to be wrapped in boards. And I think if it did have some kind of grounding element, that would be really helpful. And maybe there's a trim line at the transition between first and second floor. I'm not sure, but something has to be brought back to mitigate the height, especially since it's getting so close to Walsh. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Ray?
Other people have made the same point, but obviously it's of tremendous interest to me that somebody's saving this building. Now, is it the greatest building we've ever seen? No, but, and is it improved by the reduction in these additive masses that are getting you to the right ground coverage? No. So, like the others, I guess I'm looking for some things. Oh, I want to point out one thing, which is, okay, we're getting closer to the setback on Walsh, but because the front yard setback has been moved, we're getting a pretty decent lawn on that other side that I don't believe was there before. You know what I mean?
You're correct.
So it's not like the space is going away, it's just kind of moving to a different spot. But I do think that there are things that can be done to this, porches and so forth, that don't add to the ground coverage, that might be able to give it a little bit more curb appeal, and that would be nice. So that's it.
Okay, nothing to add. So it sounds like we need a.
Hold for revisions.
You know, we're out of square footage. It's getting shoehorned into this space by the grace of someone who wants to buy it and save this building. Okay? I appreciate everyone's comments, okay? But this is gonna go someplace none of us want it to go if we can't get some compromise here, I'm afraid.
To the landfill? Gonna go to the landfill?
Well, is this a take it or leave it kind of?
It's already been approved for demo.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But what we're suggesting, as.
No, not at all. From my proposal, take it or leave it, no, not at all.
There's no one on this board who's not going to applaud your owner for saving this building. Nobody. All we're looking for is, in taking off some of these single-story pieces, we're left with a rather large building that's rather close to the street, and, I think there's some fairly modest things that can be done.
I agree with you 100%, okay? But I hope you appreciate that if you look at the site plan, okay, and the portions that are proposed to be eliminated here, I think the greater good is in our proposal, because we don't have any ground cover.
There's no question that we
Robbie,
do appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you, Ray, but Robbie, I appreciate that, but we're gonna, we motioned, we're gonna ask you to try and make some good faith changes.
Okay.
We understand your comments, and we'll pick it up as soon as you bring it back.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Yep,
Fair enough?
perfect. Yeah, very fair. Thank you.
That was my motion.
All right, on the motion, Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Ray, Joe,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, we are now on to 6 Starbuck and are patiently waiting. Yep, you folks come on up to the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Or one of you.
Right.
And then we've got Chip, and then we've got 10 Marble Way. And then we've got dinner, hopefully before 6:30. Go ahead and identify yourself for the record.
I'm Marshall Taylor. I have to caution you with one thing. I have very poor hearing, and the speakers are not helping at all with me. So if I look puzzled, I am.
Okay.
Okay. I'm here to ask for permission to change my driveway from 3/4-inch bluestone to shell. And coupled with that, some things had to be done because the heavy rains that we've had occasionally have shown that there are weaknesses in the apron on the front of the driveway and throughout the driveway. So the wood the pressure-treated lumber that acted as a barrier to the surround of the driveway was decaying and falling apart. The nails and the iron rods holding them in were becoming very apparent. So I had to change that, and we had to change it, so we did that with steel edging. And the apron, apparently I did not realize it when it was put in. It's on the front three, it was only about 3 feet deep. When I say deep, in depth of going up the driveway. It was done with 4 by 4 by 10-inch blocks, not jumbo Belgian blocks. And so water was, as you can see, the little edges there where things are getting washed out. Any water coming down that driveway was coming down at high speed and going under the blocks and going under the steel edging that was at the front of the block. So
I think I appreciate this. This reminds me of when bear with me a moment. This reminds me of when we had the work group, organizational focus committee, and John McLaughlin and I were in a room, and I'm being videotaped because his batteries weren't working, his hearing aid, yelling at an older man. I think we're good for a moment, okay? If you hold on. The board is regular board. Are you on this one? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. And I think I'm just going to jump into, does anyone have any questions?
No
Oh,
sorry. No questions or concerns.
Okay. And Mickey, do you, I see this as highlighted. I'm not seeing
It's
the.
Mattocket.
That's because it's Mattocket.
Yeah, okay. Val?
I did look at this and I asked Holly to have someone else look at it. My only concern is I thought on dirt roads, you're not supposed to put in an apron. That's a zoning thing, but it seems like everybody in the street has done it, so.
Yeah.
I do think it's gonna lend itself to keep undermining itself because the road is dirt, but in and of itself, I don't have any concerns.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any concerns?
No.
Does someone have a motion?
Motion to approve is submitted.
All in favor, wait a minute. Oh yeah, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
You've got an approval.
thank you very much, I appreciate it.
All right, have a good evening, folks. Thanks for coming in.
But isn't that a rule? Am I
No,
crazy?
dirt is not established rule. It's the other way around, is you're supposed to have an apron, but it's been leniently waived on a dirt road because it doesn't make sense to be putting it right next to the road and then have the grading come in and undermine it.
It used to be that they would insist on it,
Yes.
you know, and we'd be putting these Belgian block aprons out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think they finally realized that that wasn't the wisest thing in the world to
It
do.
just kind of gets waived. Okay, we're on to 20 Walquet. How do we say this, Ro? Walquat?
Chip, are you going to share?
I am here. Good evening, everyone. And if I can share the screen, I will walk everyone through the application.
Okay.
Friday.
Timer, please. No offense, Chip, just trying to be consistent.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fast. I have 2 minutes, right? All right, ladies and
You're
gentlemen.
using it now.
Chip Webster on behalf of the applicant for a proposed garage at 20 Recoit. Let's start with the lower left-hand portion of the drawing that shows the locus and the area. You can see, if you're not familiar with this, this is a pretty remote location. It's at the end, it's the last house on this road. You can see the numbers 1 through 10 that show the locations of the photos. Photos 5 through 10 all show that it's extremely limited visibility from a very far distance. We included photos 1, 2, and 3 that are physically, and 4 physically on the property, just to show you a little bit of the context and the existing structure there. So moving right along, this is the site plan. You can see the location of the proposed garage. And then this is the garage itself. So you can tell it's a drawing, the idea is that it looks like a barn structure. It is pretty self-explanatory. There's the north elevation, west, south, and east. So with that, I will turn it over to the board for questions and comments. Thank you.
Great, thanks. So I actually had this on my consent, and I just thought that it needs to be simplified, and other than that, if height could be modified, given its location, I think that would be important. Those were my concerns.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Please, Val.
Through you.
Yep.
Chip, the
Yes.
building you're showing us a picture of is not the building that is proposed, correct?
The building that you see in the picture is the existing house. You mean in picture number one? Val?
Yeah, so the site
Yeah.
plan shows a substantially different layout, a house, a guest house, a pool, and then this. If we had seen those, this may have made more sense in context. But what we're looking at this building with is the little building that's there and a shed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not fully. So
Okay,
maybe,
so is,
I'm going to try and restate if I may. Val's looking for context of what's proposed as opposed to what's existing, because what's existing is not going to be what's there perhaps, right?
yeah, it looks to me from the site plan that the house that we're looking at in the picture is not the main house. It's not the guest house.
oh, okay. So what we were seeing in the picture is the guest house. What we're looking at is if you're to the west on the site plan looking east, right now you see the guest house because the garage isn't there. So if you see where the little shed is in photograph one, that's the approximate location of the proposed garage, if that helps.
I don't think he understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I guess I don't. Sorry.
So, okay, Chip, thanks. Let's proceed. Val, concerns?
I do have concerns because if I don't know what the main house looks like, this seems out of scale
Okay,
to
so
me.
you are in the firmly hold for additional information, specifically what else will be proposed on the lot camp, correct?
Wait.
Hold on,
If-
Chip. Chip, hold
Sorry.
on a second. Come on.
Yep, hold it.
Trying to determine, I need to facilitate, and in order to facilitate, I need to understand. So that's my understanding, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, Val.
No, that's,
Okay. Ray?
Ditto. I agree with what Val said. I also agree with what you said at the beginning.
Okay. Abby?
Yeah, I agree. Taken out of context, it looks like this very large building came down from the sky and landed right on the beach.
I think even with context, it might look like that. Angus?
Nothing more to add, thank you.
So Chip, we need to have some additional information, which is included in the packet with respect to proposed. The existing is useful information for scale under current circumstances. And please consider revisions with respect to maybe eliminating rooftop elements and simplifying the fenestration doorways on the barn house, whatever it is. Is that the motion?
Can I second that, but add one thing is what would also be helpful is, an elevation showing everything that's proposed, all the
Yeah.
buildings together.
Yep. So we need a.
Then
we need
that's
a
the motion.
Property elevation from the viewable perspectives. All in favor of Angus' motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Okay, 10 Marble Way.
Thank you.
Linda? Tori? Is this gonna be a cage match?
That was good. It's irrelevant, but yeah. Okay.
Whoa, shots fired.
Shots fired.
We're both here as abutters.
Okay. Okay, Linda, you have the floor.
I'm not going to get into a battle over what's going to go there, but I will say for the record that this is going to be his personal house that's going to go on this lot when these come off of it.
oh, is this Mrs. Gioso's house?
Who?
Mrs. Gioso.
Okay,
I don't
wait,
know.
hold your questions.
We got a crappy barn
Timer,
house thing
please.
that's falling apart. I gave you a bunch of pictures. We got a garage that's falling apart. and trying to get this gambrel thing down the road, Marble Way, I wish they'd grade it, Tory. But trying to get it out of there is going to be very tough. It's really, the floor is rotting and the building is in terrible shape. But what's going to replace it, I think the neighborhood is incredibly interested in, they should be.
Okay.
It's going to be his personal house. You have complete control over what the
Linda,
house is looking
Linda,
like.
we're not gonna, if we're
I
not
know.
gonna see what we're gonna replace it with, we don't wanna talk about it
That's
because
right.
it
I'm
would
just,
be improper,
I know that's what they're concerned with.
inappropriate, and
But it's just
unwarranted.
get the house out, move demo
Thank you.
garage.
Okay.
Simple.
Do we have any questions for Linda? Do we have a hand raised? William Congleton.
Oh, Lindsay,
Lindsay,
his real name.
yeah. Lindsay, would you like to speak?
Who's sitting by
Oh,
the?
yeah, I just wanted to
Regular
say the house is in really bad shape. Like it was never flashed. Like it's not great. Like we're gonna move everyone there's some people living there. We're gonna move them out shortly, and it's not salvageable in my opinion. So.
Okay, thank
I
you.
did want to add that, Mr. Chairman, that the windows are not flashed, the roof is not flashed, it's leaking.
Okay,
It's just-
Linda,
there you go.
we get the leaky.
You get the gist
old
of it.
sieve picture. Tori?
Hi, Victoria Ewing, 5 Marble Way. The applicant at 10 Marble Way has recently, throughout the last 10 months, been before you regarding development of the adjacent 5 lots to the east of number 10, originally lots number 6, number 8, and number 10 Marble Way. Throughout that process, we as a neighborhood expressed our significant concerns regarding the overdevelopment of the newly created 5 lots. Marble Way is a longtime year-round neighborhood and consists of nearly 95% one-story and 1.5-story homes. The development of the new 5 lots has detrimentally changed the neighborhood forever. Each lot has a 2-story duplex in addition to a 1.5-story garage with a studio above it on each of the 5 lots, right on top of each other within 15 feet of each other, sideline to sideline, east to west. Furthermore, the applicant's decisions, behavior, and management of the construction has been a disaster. To start, he's removed close to 90% of the existing vegetation along the street. He's installed some of the duplex foundations on the street closer than what was HDC approved, and on each lot with the prefab boxes now on those foundations set already. Applicants, staff, and contractors continue to park in the road despite our reminding them daily that they are not allowed to park on the road and pointing out that there's plenty of room to the interior of the newly developed 5 lots to park. They arrive blaring music starting at 6:30 a.m. daily. They have literally blocked the surrounding residences from accessing their properties on almost a daily basis. Needless to say, all parties associated with this project vehemently disregard our requests both in person, verbally, and in writing via emails. Almost every property on Marble Way has continuous construction trash everywhere, roofing materials and so on. I'm almost done.
Yeah, but keep it relevant to
It's getting
the
there.
architectural
It's getting
elements,
there.
please, because you're losing your,
His sewer extension project to accommodate the overdevelopment has littered the road with debris and destroyed existing vegetation on the road with zero efforts on the applicant's behalf to clean things up. For all of these reasons and more, we as a neighborhood beg of you to hold off on approving a demo move-off of either structure located at number 10 Marble Way. The 1.5-story Cape-style dwelling and associated garage are more in keeping with the surrounding neighborhood properties. There should be serious hesitation to approve any further development on the lot at number 10 Marble Way due to the lack of follow-through on original HDC approvals for neighboring lots and the disregard for the prior HDC
Tori,
approvals
time's
and
up.
process.
So please wrap up.
As most importantly, disregard and disrespect for all the parties involved on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. We
Yep,
appreciate your
thank you.
input. Regular board comments?
Abby Camp.
Oh, I should say concern.
Yeah, so we all went through the development of these lots. And here we have a very large lot with 2 buildings to be demoed. But we have no idea what's going there, and it is it's a mixed neighborhood. It is residential. It does have some commercial, but I would like to see what's intended here before I approve the demos. Thank you.
Thank you. Angus?
I agree.
Okay.
not legal.
Val?
I thought that wasn't a thing that we
It's
could.
not legal.
Let's go through.
Why
our
am I
process.
talking? Let Linda talk.
Linda? Shush. Al, you have the floor.
I feel their frustration, but it doesn't relate to us, and I thought that was only an old historic district thing, and we sort of were told we couldn't hold people to that anymore. I'm personally sad. I loved this woman who lived in this house, but I get it. It's falling apart.
Okay, thank you. Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very disappointed here about the goings-on in the neighborhood, definitely. However, you know, in my role as an HTC member, this is a building that is definitely not contributing to the historic fabric of the island and is in terrible disrepair. So I'm okay with the idea of approving a demo move off.
Okay, thank you. I tracked the comments Val and Ray made without going into depth repeating them. What would we like to do? Or what do we feel we're obligated to?
I can make a motion to approve a demo move off of this building.
Okay.
Just the building or both of them?
All in favor, say aye.
Is this one?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
So for the record, one opposed, Abby Camp. We are gonna move on to 10 Marble Way, move demo garage.
And we do, remember, have control over what comes back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's on principle.
I don't have much to say about the garage. It's just as bad as the rest of it.
Nice lady, wonderful
Who
lady.
was the lady?
Mrs. Gioso.
I'm gonna cut to the chase here and just.
Yes,
you know,
please.
All the comments that I made regarding the house apply to this garage, perhaps even more so.
Yep. Any comments, any concerns?
I would be a nay, just because I want to see
Yeah.
what's proposed, so.
Okay, fair enough. Consistency is important. Do we have a motion?
I would move to approve this as a demo move off.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I am.
Let the record reflect Abby Camp is a no. That brings us to no minutes to approve. The
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Hey, Tori, bring
Thank you,
those to the
Tori.
planning board.
Yeah, definitely. That's where you can make a difference. Next HCC meeting is August 12th. It's a new business meeting. So prepare to eat some pizza because we'll probably be here a while.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't know. How many do we have in? Yeah. Unless you folks work hard at consents. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So
At
moved.
6:17. On Angus' motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously.
I wonder why the agendas have been so short.
Because
I think
people,
we're in a recession.
people know the light.
People are making the revisions that we asked
Yes.
for instead of